All right, Rivet crew, it's Friday, and I have a nice, big, beefy workout for you to finish up the week. One time through, kind of a chipper wad, I guess you'd call this. It's in three parts. It's almost like you have a double buy-in as well. But as you can see, we start out with some time on the bike. 100 calories for the fellas, 80 calories for the ladies. Then we have 150 double unders, sort of in the middle of the workout, part two, if you will. And then our third and final part of today's chipper workout is 10 rounds of Cindy. So we're getting our body weight gymnastic stuff in today. I'll start at the end there. 10 rounds of Cindy. Cindy, of course, is 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 air squats. You're going to go through that 10 times. Then skipping back to the beginning of the workout, we have the bike, 100 calories for the fellas, 80 for the ladies. This, like I said, treat it as a buy-in to the workout. Go at a nice, strong pace, but not so fast that you're totally winded when you get off the bike. As usual, we want to kind of go at a strong pace and be able to get off the bike and get immediately on to the next thing, which in this case today is double unders, which is kind of our part two buy-in. Bike-wise, I know I usually try to stick it at right about 40 calories, 38 to 40 calories a minute is kind of my general speed that I try to keep on there. And I know that if you stick it right about there, that the 100 calories for the fellas, it's going to take, I think it's about six and a half minutes, 6:40, something like that. And ladies, sorry, I'm not quite sure what the speed is for that. A little bit less, probably like maybe 34, something like that, calories an hour. But something to keep on, keep an eye on that pace. Try to have a nice consistent speed, get off the rower and get onto those 150 double unders. So 150 double unders, let's try to spend no more than 2.5 minutes at this station. Really depends on what your capacity is for that movement. I know some of you are just going to zip right through that 150 double unders, no problem, unbroken or relatively unbroken. Some of you will break it up into smaller sets. I know a lot of us, myself included, find it a little bit easier to kind of do, smaller sets and have quick breaks. It might be a 50-50-50 or a series of 25s or whatever, but do whatever works well for you. Again, as always, the goal is to kind of, spend more time moving and less time resting. So sometimes those small sets and quick breaks are better than long breaks or long sets and long breaks. So again, work your capacity and spend no more than 2.5 minutes, hopefully less, on the double under station. And then at the end, probably the toughest part of the workout, of course, is our body weight stuff. Again, 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 air squats. I will always mention quality with body weight movements because it's really easy to get sloppy with our range of motions. Remember, every single squat you do today out of all 150 of them should be to RX standards. RX standards means you are fully open at the hips and knees at top. You're standing up straight basically. And then, if you can see my hips, hip crease is right here. And that should go clearly down below the top of the knee, right? You can see my top of my knee here, hip crease of the hip there, every single rep, down and up, right? And then push-ups, I won't get into a big long story. So many push-ups are done poorly. Just remember, at the top of your push-up, your arms should be fully extended. At the bottom of the push-up, your chest and only your chest should touch the floor. And then the rest of your body should stay perfectly straight, as if you're holding a plank hold. Specifically the knees, right? I often see people with those knees kind of bent and they're kind of rolling off the knees. This is what your body should look like when you're doing a push-up. Hips are locked open, knees are locked open. And then finally the pull-ups, of course, we all know that one. That one's a little harder to not do properly, but yeah, straight arms at the bottom and chin over the bar at the top, preferably with your head in a neutral position as opposed to reaching for the bar like that and cheating that range of motion a little bit. So quality on your body weight movement. And then as far as those go, ideally we're finding a pull-up variation that we're doing those all unbroken sets of 5, right? We should be able to bang out 5 unbroken every single time, whatever version we're doing. Push-ups, 1 to 2 sets there, either unbroken or maybe one quick break, turning each 10 to a 5 and a 5 or 6 and a 4, whatever. Scale, use a band, use an elevated surface as necessary. And of course, the air squats are kind of nice to give your upper body a break. So just kind of nice steady pace through the 15 before getting back to the pull-ups. Cues today for something to think about when you're doing each thing. So bike, think about light seat and heavy feet. What this means is the less weight we can kind of put, with our butts into the seat, and the more weight we can put with our feet into the pedals, the more efficient, stronger a biker you're going to be. So I'm not saying stand up on the pedals, but just try to maybe, sit on the hamstrings, a little lighter in the seat. It's helpful if you lean forward slightly and kind of bring those shoulders over right where the pedals are. You can transfer just a little bit of weight from your backside from the seat to the feet, basically. And this way we get more body weight, we get more shoved down into those pedals, and we get through that, relatively lengthy bike a little bit more efficiently. Double unders, let's think about tight body and loose hands. Tight body, loose hands. So when we jump, ideally, we're staying engaged. We have the shoulders back and down, but relaxed, belly tight, glutes engaged, quads engaged. We're staying nice and tight in the body. This makes for a more efficient jump, if you will, as opposed to kind of being all floppy. So stay tight throughout the body, but stay loose in the hands. You want a relatively relaxed, loose grip on the handle. This makes it easier to spin the wrist. If you're really gripping that handle tight, it's harder to spin those wrists easily. So loose hands, nice little spin of the wrists. And then last thing, Cindy, squeeze your butt. One of my favorite coaching phrases, squeeze your butt. All three of these movements benefit from you squeezing your butt. With your kipping pull-ups today, right, we go into our hollow position, and then we come out into our arch. If we can squeeze that butt as we drive those hips up and get that big hip pop right before that moment of weightlessness, when we pull, we get more hip pop, we get more elevation, we get more weightlessness, and we make that pull just that little bit easier. So squeeze that butt as you pop the hips open. Push-ups, I already mentioned about keeping the hips and knees open, the butt specifically, right? Squeeze that butt. It helps you maintain that nice tight plank position as you're going up and down in your push-ups. And then, of course, the RX standard for the air squat is making sure those hips fully open at the top. You can ensure that by giving your butt a good squeeze at the top. So rather than coming to here and not extending the hips all the way, you're not squeezing your butt. No RX for you. You are squeezing your butt. You're extending the hips. You're doing it right. That's all I got for you. Relatively lengthy workout today, 30 minutes or so, give or take. Come in, get it done, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.